I was like, shut up. Like, you selfish. By the way, smartest sister. I love Amy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Please welcome the wickedly talented
Betches Video Club.
There's a mistake.
Betches.
You guys won Best Picture.
Welcome back to Betches Video Club. It's the show where the Betches Video team talks all things movies and TV. Guys, I'm so excited for today's episode. I'm literally
already crying.
Bursting out of my seat. The book up. No, yep, I've got my book here next to my Duncan. But first we have a couple of really exciting things to talk about. We've had a very exciting guest in the office this week, Mr. Dylan Efron and Mr. Boston Rob Mariano. We've done How Online Are You before with Mr. Dylan, and that was so fun and just sort of heaven on earth for everybody in the office that day. So then he came back to do a new show we have called Truth or Trash. And I'm the producer on that. And so he came in and I was, bringing them into the studio. I held out my hand. I'm a professional and I was ready to give a firm handshake. And I was like, hi, Dylan, Maddie, it's great to see you again. He didn't put his hand out and I was like, oh no. He opens his arms wide to what can only be described as a big hug. And he goes, I think we know each other. Get in here.
Oh.
Get in here? I hopped right in. I said, oh, thanks. And yeah. And then,
How did he smell?
He sort of did the same
So
to me.
good.
He sort of did the same to
And
me.
he's a hugger.
Same to me. Wasn't even afraid.
Different to me though, a little longer, a little more tender.
Well, I don't know. I'm the same height as him, so I was sort of eye to eye.
Well, and
cheek
then
to
you had
cheek,
a second sighting.
Well, I also had a second sighting. So yeah, the day after he was here in our office physically, I went to a taping of the Drew Barrymore show, which by the way was absolutely amazing, and I love her. She's such a doll.
She's the best.
She's such a doll. And he was on doing a traders thing with Boston Rob and a bunch of the current traders.
So fun.
And during one of the commercial breaks, when they were, like resetting cameras and stuff, because I was sitting right up front, he looked right at me in the eye and he just goes,
He points at you, gives you a thumbs up.
Yep. I felt like Tracy Turnblad in Hairspray when Link Larkin looked at her and just like gives her a little wink. I was like, oh my God. I was literally, I can hear the bells.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He has such good energy. He's so nice.
Really
He's
nice,
warm.
sweetie boy.
Like he's just a good guy.
How is Boston Rob?
Boston Rob's great. He's literally like a dad. He was talking about his 4 daughters the whole time, which I think is so cool. I'm one of 3 girls. Wait. Speaking of 4 daughters, and you know what? That actually was not the tie-in that I had planned, but sometimes when it hits, it hits.
Yeah.
We are talking about another family with 4 daughters today, which is, of course, the Alcott family. Louisa May Alcott, the writer of Little Women.
Little Women.
In Little Women, they're known as the March family. Okay, I'm addicted to this movie, this book, both movies actually, and I just wanted to live inside that world as a child. Despite the scarlet fever of it all, I was like, I need to be in that house, in that family. And it's just very close to my heart. Sorry if I get passionate about it today. I guess I'm just doxing myself right now. But I grew up in Concord, Massachusetts, which is where the women, it's where it all took place in reality. Like every year at school, we would go to the Alcott house on a field trip.
I guess I didn't know they were real people.
Oh my God, Des, they are real people. They're all dead now. Also, where they're all buried is a place called Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. The location, spooky. The location of the graves is called Author's Ridge, and you can go there and see the gravestones and or the headstones, whatever they're called. You can even to this day go to the Alcott house and reserve up to 2 hours of time in Louisa May Alcott's bedroom, and it's specially reserved for writers, artists, people who want to be in her physical space and feel that inspiration.
Whoa, that's cool. Is it the attic?
No, it's her bedroom.
Okay.
The attic was where they did their plays and stuff.
She's Jo, right?
Yes.
Obviously, because she's the one writing the book.
Yes.
See, I don't know. Maddie's looking at me like you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
She's Jo.
What? No. I don't know all the lore, but I could ordain. I was like, this is obviously about Louisa May Alcott, just names changed.
Yeah, names changed. It's autobiographical. And then the last thing I'll say about it is that I was Louisa May Alcott for multiple Halloweens in a row.
I think it's important to know that you were the author and not Jo.
Yeah. I was mostly into Louisa May Alcott.
That's
as
really
a
funny.
historical figure.
What did you do to separate yourself from Jo March and Louisa Marie
May
Alcott?
You mean costume wise or?
Yeah, what
in
was
life?
In both ways. No, I'm actually not Jo March. I'm Louisa May Alcott.
A lot of people didn't know who I was when I showed up at their doorstep. And they'd be like, oh, and who's this? And I'd be like, I had the book as a prop. And I was like, I'm Louisa May Alcott. So I had the book. Whereas if I was Jo, I wouldn't have had the book. Because Jo didn't write Little Women. Jo was a writer who wrote other
Right.
books. Louise May Alcott wrote Little Women. Are we seeing that? And then the great part was that the wicker basket that I had the book in was also a perfect holding place for my candy.
Wow. Clever.
Shut it.
So.
Perfect place for your candy.
We're going to try to get some photos from my mom to throw
Love
in here if
that.
you're watching on video.
So cute.
She's going to dig in the basement. All right. Anyways, if you're not as familiar with this story as I am, let's get into the synopsis. In the years after the Civil War, Jo March lives in New York and makes her living as a writer, while her sister Amy studies painting in Paris. Amy has a chance encounter with Theodore, a childhood crush who proposed to Jo but was ultimately rejected. Their oldest sibling, Meg, is married to a school teacher, while shy sister Beth develops a devastating illness that brings the family back together. It's one of those synopsises that you're like, wait, that's not the movie we watched.
Well, how would you even start with this movie?
Yeah.
There's so many
I know.
things going on.
There's so much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. For a second in the beginning, I was a little confused.
Yeah,
I
because
was a
you
little
haven't
like-
begun the time jump thing yet.
Yeah,
So you're
I,
like,
I
wait,
didn't.
what?
I was like, wait. I kept trying to be like, wait, where are we? Where are we?
Yeah.
I got it because it's Greta and she ate the filmmaking, and I could tell based on the lighting and like the mood when we were in present versus back in time.
Yeah.
I remember going into the remake. This is the remake of Little Women. I
Yes.
I assume the Winona Ryder is like, in my mind, the original, but I think there might be another version. And I was like, how the hell is she going to top this movie?
She topped it.
She topped it.
She topped it big
and
time.
it is because she is so good at playing with structure. Greta Gerwig shows you the time jump without like having to like bat you over the head with
Yeah,
it.
the direction too is so clear. Like clearly when the women are older, they've really experienced life at this
Yeah.
point. And then you go back in time 7 years earlier, there's
Yeah.
it was full of joy, life, color, you know?
Amy has
Yes.
bangs. Amy doesn't have bangs.
Right.
Yeah.
Little things also.
Beth alive, Beth dead.
Also, Beth alive, Beth dead. Also, Greta just being such an amazing writer.
Yeah.
Those scenes were just so fucking well constructed. I would just be like, how is this screenwriting occurring right now? And really, the thing that I noticed right away, I've never read the book. I don't know anything about Little Women.
Well,
I don't
I've got
know
a
why
copy
I
for you
wasn't
right here.
required to read it in school. I don't know what
We were.
it missed me there. So I was like going in like completely blind. But they basically lay out what the movie's going to be about right in the beginning.
You've never
'Cause
seen it
The
before?
publisher, no.
This was
The
your first
publisher-
time?
Verge.
No, because the publisher tells her she either has to get married at the end or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
I
get one
love
of
that.
both.
A lot of it, so the screenplay is considered an adapted screenplay that Gerwig wrote. A lot of the lines are pulled right from the original text, the source material. First line of the book is actually, "Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents," grumbled Jo, lying on the rug. "It's so dreadful to be poor," sighed Meg, looking down at her old dress. You get one line from each of the girls up top. So, you know, it is adapted. A lot of the dialogue is right from here. Not to take anything away from Greta.
Well,
Incredible job.
She wrote the monologue that Amy gives.
Yeah.
About what it's like to be a woman, and
Yeah.
and she's like, so she really did adapt it.
The
and
one that's really about marriage. 'Cause
Yeah.
then Jo also has one about being a woman.
Oh, right. Yes. And it just so perfectly fits in there too.
I know.
It's amazing. Another thing I wrote about Greta Gerwig's like storytelling abilities is that like she's so good at making these like extraordinary characters like Jo March, Barbie, even like Lady Bird, and they're extraordinary, but they're also ordinary and you root for them. They're not like unbelievable.
No, I wrote that down too, like a similar sentiment, Brian. I was like, a lot of times with historical dramas, these characters or these people feel so far removed from the world we're living in today, or even like the sensibilities that people have. This could not feel more relatable.
Yeah.
The way that these girls are interacting with each other, they're hitting each other, they're screaming, they're burning each other's hair off, like, and they're talking over each other, just so full of life and energy. And I think that a lot of that comes down to Greta's direction.
So much so that when the overt female oppression that was just part of the time period would come into play, it was like a jump scare. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? I forgot. Because I would keep forgetting we're not today, we're then, even though
Right.
it's clearly period. But it's just
Right.
like you said, like there was sort of a modern sentiment that did not feel put on it.
Yeah.
That just had this universality that really is such a hard needle to thread. And
Yeah.
of course, Greta can just easily do that.
Easily do it.
But like, I just like lines of like, you're a woman, you can't work unless you do these two things. Like just stuff like that. I would be like,
Yeah,
God.
it's really like Meryl
Like-
Streep's whole character,
Yeah.
sort of bringing us
Oh.
back to the time period.
I'm sorry, can we talk about the cast?
Well, let's talk about them.
Because
It
this was a
is-
cast of Legos. We just kept stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking.
So it's Laura Dern, Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson, Florence Pugh, Eliza Scanlon, and Timothée Chalamet. with Meryl Streep and Bob Odenkirk. I mean, name after name after name.
Yeah.
Fun fact I have is that only one of the 4 girls playing the daughters is actually American by birth. Can you guess who?
Is it Beth?
Saoirse Ronan.
It's Saoirse Ronan, born in the Bronx, raised in Ireland.
I'm a huge Saoirse fan, so I did know that.
Yeah, I love Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan is the best actor of our generation.
I agree.
She is.
I agree, hands down.
Unreal in every single thing she does. And it's always different. You can't tell that she's Irish, like has an Irish accent. Her American accent is perfect.
Yeah.
Then she plays like Hannah in that movie Hannah. And then I don't know why I said Hannah and Anna differently.
Hannah in the movie Hannah.
Brooklyn, Atonement, Lady Bird. I mean, I think she's number one for me.
She's exquisite. And honestly, all of the performances in this movie were exquisite. I was just sitting there like, wow.
Yeah. I do have one more fun fact related to the performances. Yes. Fun fact. Amy is supposed to be 12 and is being played by Florence Pugh, who was 23 at the time of filming. That's my only note for the film. Don't tell us to believe that a 23-year-old is 12. Please.
That's what a note I had in the flashbacks where I was like, why are they acting so young?
And they are young.
And they are young.
They're supposed to be young.
But I was like,
but they're all adults.
Yeah, they're all adults.
But they all look sort of exactly the same, except for
it was really just hers. I think Eliza Scanlon looks and plays young enough to pull off like 9 or whatever that was. She really does have a baby face, and I actually think Florence Pugh can pull it off in some of the scenes. I think the issue is at 23, she was already playing roles that were like way older than 23, so it's hard as an audience member to be like, wait, what do you guys think the budget for the movie was?
I'm gonna say 50 million.
Okay,
80.
Yeah, no, it was 40.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Similar, yeah.
Wait, for period and for that cast?
Well, here's what I think. They were very efficient in their locations. All shot in Concord. Shout out Concord!
Including the New York stuff?
And all the Europe stuff. It's the Crane Estate, which is just on the North Shore of Massachusetts. It's a very popular wedding venue, and it does look like Europe.
That's amassing.
Amassing.
They shot on 35 mil, and they were nominated for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress for Florence Pugh, despite the 12-year-old, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score, and then they were nominated and won for Jacqueline Duran's Best Costume Design.
This was 2019?
Yes.
What was that the year of Oscars-wise? Like,
Shut
why did it
up.
not
like,
win
why
more?
are you asking me these hard questions?
Because now you're supposed to...
I think
know everything about Little Women. You're a Louisa May Alcott stan.
Well, I don't know, because Louisa May Alcott wasn't alive for these, so I really only know about her.
Okay, so her lack of involvement sort of soured it.
Who was nominated for Best Actress?
Saoirse.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Timmy didn't scoop up a nom for this one?
He did not. But something that I thought was cool about the costume design is that Jacqueline Duran created duplicate pieces of costumes for Jo and Laurie, that's Timothy's character, to share, so it looked like they shared clothing.
Oh,
I noticed that when
good, Brian.
When Jo gives Teddy the ring.
Yep.
And I'm like, are they wearing the same blazer or the same vest?
Well, they would have they wanted it to look like they shared clothes.
They look very similar. Yeah.
Really speaks to the relationship that those two have.
Yeah.
I think that the overarching theme of this movie is like there are many paths to being a successful woman, no matter what era you live in. You can like choose these different ways to do it. But I'm curious, like, who did you guys think had the best path?
I'm a Joe stan. I'm not gonna lie.
You are?
I'm because I connect. It's the career driven. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm telling stories in my attic, and I'm gonna be a real writer. Like, I really connect with that type of character.
Yeah.
I do.
I would be like, oh, I want to be Jo, but Amy going to painting school and like, yeah, I think her arc I was most interested by.
I wrote down Amy is the biggest bitch, and she did it right.
She's the realist.
She's hardcore.
She is like, but she has like a realistic perspective of the world. Whereas like Jo is very good at perceiving it and like writing about it.
She's a dreamer.
And like she like romanticizes.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I love how Amy is like very realistic. And so I also feel like as a fellow youngest of a family of 4.
Oh yeah.
I really related to Amy because I think that there's a lot of resentment for the younger child because you get away with a lot more as the youngest.
Oh wait, she burned burns her manuscript.
She burns the manuscript.
Crazy.
And immediately, Marmee is like, Joe, forgive her.
No,
I'm like,
I was like, wait, that's like her work though.
Yeah.
And it's because at that point, it's their parents are better parents because they've done it 4 times.
Yep.
They also like care a little less. And you also, as the youngest, you get to watch your oldest siblings like make mistakes or do well and learn from those things. So I think that, older siblings resent their youngest, and that's why the youngest are usually the best.
So what you're saying is you're better than your siblings.
okay,
All right, Brian.
Counterpoint. No, it made me really feel for Meg, the oldest, because I think you're right, Brian. Like, you can see in her character, she didn't have that older sibling to watch and learn from. And so she's sort of just being like, oh, well, I want to be pretty. And then she's like, I want to be an actress. Oh, wait, like, this is sort of hard for me. I don't quite fit in. Let me actually just go full on for love. And then you see what that choice has led her to, which is really not the life of her dreams. And like, she's still making it work for herself, but she's so devastated that she can't maybe have all the things that Amy ends up being able to have, marrying Laurie, the wealthy man. And I just love like seeing these sisters who are raised in the same family all go on their completely separate courses.
But I also think they have qualities of each other. Like Jo cuts her hair and everyone's like, whoa, and then she's crying because her hair looks bad, and you're like, you're just a girl.
One of my favorite lines.
You want it to be like, and then I think they know each other so well that they're able to like point to each other's flaws.
Yeah.
Meg, she was like, just because my dreams are different doesn't mean they're not worthy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was like,
I'm gonna need the tissues. Were you guys not sobbing from literally the first frame? Jo standing outside the publisher's office. It's all silhouette. She's about to walk in. I see that frame. I'm sobbing.
Immediately crying.
I'm not stopping sobbing until the credits are done rolling. Like, I was literally crying the whole time.
I cried when the old man gives Beth the piano.
Oh.
Like, old men being sweet is just...
He's like,
I thought of you during that test because you always say that. Yeah, because you say sad things like that.
She loves old men.
I love when old men go, oh, he's going to be grumpy. And he goes, no, I'm going to get you the piano and surprise you. And it's like this like intergenerational relationship. Like,
intergenerational relationships have me on the floor. I can't.
How about him listening to her playing the piano and crying? I was like, how about one of the best acting beats ever? I was like,
puts his hand up to his mouth to stifle. I was like,
Laurie is so dramatic.
No, Laurie.
I
suck.
I found him fine. Like, it was cute when he was dancing with her outside and they were being all cutesy.
When they're kids.
And then it was like, grow up.
I know.
Like, even the iconic scene where he's like, I've loved you since the moment I was just, and then he was like, I'm gonna die. And it's like, dude, take a minute.
That actually is my favorite scene of the movie.
It's a great
proposal
scene.
It's beautifully shot.
But you go, he's a boy.
I know. I just feel like that's his last effort. I'm totally with you, Tess. Like, he grinds my gears. But that scene, he redeemed himself a little bit for me because he was like, no, you are going to find the person you love and you're going to spend a wonderful life with them and I'm going to have to watch.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally am going to cry.
It's just like, also just like the choreography of them like running up and down the hill.
It's very much The Hills Are Alive.
And the lighting.
I know.
It is just like such a heartbreaking.
But if you were to break down and be like, his character arc is like, oh, he's in love with this girl, he confesses his love, and then he marries her sister.
No, I know. And that's the thing. That Amy proposal and the kiss in Europe, I was like, first of all, the kiss is gross because Amy is going home because her sister has just died.
Yeah.
So please don't and I know that Amy just broke off the potential engagement with the other rich guy, but I was just like,
because
this
of Laurie,
feels like he's being an opportunist right now. And he is, honestly. I think he just loves that family so much. He wants to be part of it.
That's I was like, this should be called Little Women, and Laurie's also really just horny for all of them.
It's Little Women and their man.
Little
and
Women
man.
and a
but
little
also
pee-pee.
his name is Laurie, so he could,
Well,
the girl name is what you're saying.
Where'd they pick him up? The string bean farm? I mean, girl, Timothy was giving wood slip through a grate in this movie. I'm so sorry.
He always is. What are you talking about?
Yes, sometimes more than others. I don't know.
When Frederick shows up and Laurie is like, and who is this guy? And who is this guy? Like, he's still...
Oh, he's still, of course, in love with Joe.
And it's like, you're married to her sister.
He just wants to be around.
Would you, as Joe, be able to forgive Amy?
I think you'd have to.
Yeah.
Well, if you had to work through the book that quickly, you probably would be able to get through a marriage situation, right?
Wait, what do you mean?
The burning if your training in past trauma with your sister was she burned my book and then I just had to forgive her right away.
But she also didn't know.
You know,
like she just assumed Joe said no. She didn't know that Joe still had feelings for him.
Come on, how checked out do you have to be from your? I guess she was in Europe.
They hadn't seen each other in years. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that so crazy?
I'm
like
not gonna
if
lie,
you
though.
went to Europe, you just weren't gone.
Yeah, you were just
Basically.
gone.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
all of this is crazy. When you went to New York, you were just gone. I
Right.
mean, all of it. You had to. The way they had to communicate with each other was so. It's foreign to us at this point, and then them reuniting is even more important because of that.
Right.
But
it feels so dramatic every time someone returns home. It's
I'm
like,
not-
oh, thank God they're back.
yes,
When
it's like
Dad
wait, you
comes
almost didn't.
home.
Yeah, Bob.
When Bob Odenkirk. Okay, this is one of my hot takes. I usually hate in movies when they say the name of the movie. Okay? Now, here's an exception, folks. Little Women, Bob Odenkirk coming home and going, my Little Women. I'm sobbing, screaming out for my father. I was like, I can't. Come on. Like, that was perfect.
That's perfect.
And by the way, you couldn't have written a better line.
Yeah.
No.
It didn't even feel like a gimme. It was like,
Nope.
he has to say that. These
Yeah.
are his little women. These are his little women.
His Little Women.
Like,
I
just
the real. I mean, it's an obvious tearjerker moment, but there's the contrast of when Joe wakes up next to Beth's bed and she's missing and she runs out and she's happy. She cries because she's so happy to see her wake up.
No.
I'm actually gonna cry
when she's
and then
Beth, who's always on the verge, is just sitting at kitchen, just eating her clear soup.
and then it cuts to Joe running and seeing Marnie. Marmy.
And saying nothing.
And seeing Marnie
and saying
Michaels.
nothing. Because
Seeing
we
Marnie
all-
Michaels.
Because we both know gag. No, Laura Dern serve. She just served this whole movie. It was like it was like a fucking dinner service. I mean, seriously, like 3 courses,
Chuck,
5.
please, sir.
It was a prefix menu.
Okay, we can go into favorite scenes now. After the proposal scene, Marnie and Joe in the attic packing away dead Beth's items into the box. And Joe is talking to Marmee about how lonely she is.
Oh my God.
And Marmie's like, but do you love him? Like she's regretting saying no, basically. She's like, but do you love him? And she's like, I want to be loved. I want to be loved. And Marmie's like, that's not the same thing as wanting to
loving.
love someone. And Joe goes, I'm just so lonely. I was like, oh my God. Like, and then she comes downstairs and fucking bitch ass Amy is there just, yeah, I got engaged. I was like, shut up. Like, you fucking selfish. By the way, smartest sister. I love Amy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out to your youngest sister after this and be like, so did Maddie ever call you like a fucking
No,
cunt?"
no, I just bit her on the head.
That's what this version of Little Woman does so well is that the prior version, Amy just does kind of seem like a cunt. There's not as much depth to her character. This one, Amy is filled out.
I think all the girls are filled out, and
Yeah.
all the girls are seen as valid in their approaches
Yes.
Yeah.
to how they're going to choose to go about life.
Yeah.
It's like these are all fair ways. You can write a book, and also you can just marry rich girl. Like you are so fine.
I think it's that speech that she does that really brings it where she's like, I have to do this. Like, it's her duty. That's her way of like standing up and having a Joe moment where it's like, listen, Laurie, you don't see the world that way that I do. And like, I'm going to talk to you like Joe does.
Yeah.
And that's when he goes, oh, damn.
Well, let's talk about one of my favorite scenes, which is Meryl Streep basically telling Amy, like, "Girl, it's all up to you.
Yeah.
Your
She's
sisters are hopeless.
Yes.
You need to make money for the. You
have to
need to
save the
marry rich.
family.
You literally have to. That's pressure, and like also like seeing that from the youngest sibling lens of like, you know, as the I don't know, I didn't have the youngest sibling experience, but from what I hear from all my friends, it's a little bit like you can maybe fly under the radar, and you're kind of watching your older siblings have to make bigger choices first because they're just physically older. But she's realizing, oh no, the choices that my
all up to
sisters are
me.
making are putting this pressure on me.
Yes. Yes.
I can't depend on any of
That's so
them.
true, Jeff.
That scene was like really hit me.
Okay, should we move into quote corner?
Yes.
There's so many. I'll kick us off with the meme of the movie. I just feel like women.
Mine takes place after Amy burns Joe's book, and then Amy almost dies or drowns in the water, and
In
then,
the ice,
and
yeah.
then Joe and Marmee are talking, and she says, "There are some natures too noble to curb and too lofty to bend."
Yeah. Brian, I had one from that same scene. That scene is so good
So
in the
good.
bedroom.
Well,
She's
actually,
asleep.
and fun fact, that quote originated from a letter by the author Louisa May Alcott's mother.
Oh.
Mrs. Alcott. I
Madame?
think that's the same scene where Marmee says, I'm angry nearly every day of my life.
Same scene.
Oh my God. And let me tell you, the delivery of
Come
that
on.
line was perfect because you could really like have done that in a way that felt fake, hammy, whatever.
She says it
she
so
just says
understated.
it so cleanly,
Yeah.
and like it just is perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That scene. I remember I watched this with my best friend Teddy. Teddy mentioned.
Mentioned.
I watched this with Teddy, and we literally after that scene we were just like acting. We literally
Yeah.
both were just like acting.
Well, and I think that scene too is important. If you want to get back to the history of it all really quickly, the Alcott family was seen as a sort of difficult family in town. This is real. In the movie, they're like very warm, loving, seems like they're very helpful. They get along with everybody. Not the case in real life. They were seen as like a family of activists, a family of very strong women. You know, that's like dangerous at the time. That's other.
Witches. Burn
Yeah,
them.
maybe
They were
even,
witches.
yes.
Yeah.
So I just love that scene because they're sort of acknowledging like, it's really hard to be a woman and you're going to be angry every day and you're not going to be allowed to show it. And that's how it is. Good luck out there. I just thought that was so good. I love that scene.
Good luck out there.
The scene of the publisher
Yep.
with his wife. His wife is like, why don't you ever ask me how my mom is? And
Yeah.
he's like, why would I ask you? And she's like, because I ask you about how your mom is. And he's like, that doesn't affect me. And then the girls, his daughters come in, they're like, we got to read this book.
Yeah.
So I just loved that little like aside of like a classic couple bickering and like the daughters like kind of winning because they loved the book and that
Yeah.
persuaded him. Those little women persuaded him. But that was my favorite scene because I was like,
Those little women.
those little women.
Well, it also just shows like his absolute disregard for all women.
All
even
women.
His wife.
Yeah,
he's like,
he's like-
I don't care about your mom. Your life doesn't affect me. We're
Yeah.
married, whatever.
Yeah.
Not a scene or not a quote, but shout out Keene, New Hampshire mentioned.
No, literally,
That's
I have it written
mentioned,
down.
which is Maddie's wedding location.
Mrs. Sewell in Keene, New Hampshire. Wedding location mentioned.
Wedding
Wow.
location mentioned.
Wow.
Did you pick partly because of that?
Nope. Actually didn't know that Keene, New Hampshire was mentioned in Little Women. Another reason why it's my perfect movie of all time.
Wow.
Oh, well, let's talk about the ending. Did Jo sell out by writing that ending, or is she being like sort of savage and just taking what's hers in the publishing industry as a woman who didn't have many opportunities at that time?
In the book, she marries, and you don't see her have this conversation with the publisher deciding that it gets.
That's
it
right.
gets-
So the conversation with the publisher is based on Louisa May Alcott's real life, and the deal that she strikes in this movie is the actual deal that she struck to get Little Women published.
Wow.
Meta.
So
No
it's
way.
meta.
That's
Yes.
sick.
Yes.
So cool.
But I'm talking more about, Louisa May Alcott's decision to include that Jo gets married at the end.
Honestly, get
what do
yours.
we think?
I think it's.
Get yours?
I
think-
love it.
I think, yeah.
I'm hopeless romantic. and
think, yeah.
After I diabolically laughed at her getting rejected by Laurie,
Literally sick in the
I
head.
will say I was glad that she got hers.
And I like that guy.
I liked
Yeah.
him. He's
I
really
think-
hot.
Well, he's not a string bean. Let's say
Really-
that.
No,
Yeah.
no, he hit the
I think
gym.
it's important that
Strong
she gets married, but her character gets married
Mm.
because it's like, yeah, like all women have to kind of compromise in some way,
Yeah.
and it shows that.
Yeah, I like that.
I
I
think
like
that's
that
like a
take.
nice like parallel.
I was
Where
frankly.
she's like, oh, if I'm gonna sell out, like I might as well sell out. Give
yeah,
me my money.
Yeah.
So
And that
it's like-
negotiation scene is so
Genius.
satisfying.
so
Yeah.
satisfying.
I agree. I think it's good she gets married for storytelling purposes. I also, like as a viewer of the movie, was frankly just relieved for a little taste of joy at the end after sobbing so hard the whole time. Like the marriage thing comes pretty quickly after she's like, I'm so lonely. And you're like, oh, fuck. Like she's an amazing artist, but she's going to be alone her whole life. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, it's really satisfying. Makes you feel like you're ending on a little bit of an up note, you know?
And in the note of me loving characters like Jo, I'm like, I love a character who can have it all.
Totally.
She had her book, she had her dream, she had her career, and she got the man too.
And she got the right
Yes,
man.
the right
I think like
man.
all that stuff she's
The
saying
right
to Laurie,
man.
like we would have driven each other crazy. I think she's
I think
right.
she's right. I think she had the right instinct, and I think that that's the purpose of the scene with Marmee in the attic, being like,
Yeah.
I want to be loved is so different than loving someone, because it just shows, did you really love Laurie or did you just feel so lonely?
Right.
And I think she just felt so lonely. And I think that she ends up with the guy she's meant to be with, and it's happily ever after. And we're standing Jo March, and it's astonishing.
And that is
Yeah.
from the musical. Okay, so a little Where Are They Now? This is just about Louisa May Alcott because obviously all these people are fictional. So Louisa May Alcott wrote the marriage plot for Jo because of pressure from editors and readers. Alcott herself never married nor had any children.
Lesbian.
Sorry.
Brian.
Well, with a name like Louisa
Isn't
May
it 1 in
Alcott.
4 people are
1 in 4.
so it makes
yeah.
sense. Okay.
So she never had any kids. However, when her sister died, she adopted her niece. Afterwards, she moved to Boston, Massachusetts, and continued publishing more works that followed the characters from Little Women. Alcott suffered from bouts of illness throughout her life, probably from those Hummels who always needed help and were literally coughing up a storm. Like,
Tea.
get a mask on. She attributed her poor health to mercury poisoning. Oh, sorry, Hummels. Which she believes she contracted while she worked as a nurse during the Civil War. Okay, so literally, fuck me. And 1888, she died at the age of 56 in, say it with me, Boston, Massachusetts.
Wait, wow, she was pretty young.
56? I feel like that's old for 1888.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's sort of ancient.
The 1800s, thinking about that. Like, think about the things they just didn't know.
Let's think about those.
Like the mercury
Got
poisoning.
it.
They just didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, you just like pick this up and put that in your like mouth and do all this stuff to
Yeah.
make people better.
And they'll be better.
And then
And they'll
no,
die
actually
early,
you're
but-
sick now.
Right.
Okay.
Oops.
So anyways, thank you guys for spending a little time on Little Women with me. It is my number 1 top movie of all time. If I could only bring one movie to a desert island, that's what I would bring.
Wow.
Next week, we are doing The Proposal. We're going to put our smiles on. No more tears.
No more tears.
We're going to go to Sitka, Alaska.
Yeah.
Who's that politician from Alaska? Alaska.
Oh, Sarah Palin.
Sarah Palin. It's always how I hear it in my head. Anyways, until next time, you can find us all at
The Jack Maloney.
Madeline_Mahoney.
At Brian Russell Smith.
And at Test Trag.
And you can also find old episodes on YouTube at Betches Video Club. That's a wrap.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye. Capital. Remember that? When she's like, don't say capital.